When you're good at something, you're probably gonna look for a way to prove to everyone just how good you are at it, and that is why world records exist. They are the ultimate proof of success for those who like to be the best at the things that they do. But some world records are set by brave and adventurous humans who go to the extremes that no one else would. Today we're going to be looking at the top 10 most dangerous world records in history. From scary stunts high up in the clouds to terrifying dives to deep waters, this list has a lot of things that no one in their right mind would be likely to perform. Unless, of course, they want to break a world record. That's just one thing. Can you take a guess at what the craziest and most dangerous stunt of them all was? When you find out what the number one did, you will realize that you can pretty much set a world record for anything, as long as you're brave enough to do any of this stuff. With all that said and done, let's begin, shall we? Number 10. The deepest scuba dive. It took a bit more than 9 hours for scuba diver Will Goodman to come back to the surface after he went down into what's now considered the deepest dive ever. He made it as far as 219 meters deep, which is the furthest number the computers registered. However, some people believe that he made it as far as 300 meters down below. On his way back up, Will says he felt like he was not going to make it out of the water. He lost control over his movement, but thanks to the help of his team, he was able to get out of there safely. He was able to complete this record-breaking dive in the small island surrounding Lombok, Indonesia. Prior to Will's dive, the record was held by Krzysztof Starnwiski, who was able to go 283 meters deep. Will definitely went beyond that number. However, there is no official Guinness World Record title to validate this accomplishment because the category of deepest scuba dive does not exist yet. However, the global community of scuba divers respect and honor Will's success, and that is more than enough for him. Number 9. Oldest person to do wing walking. Believe it or not, wing walking is a thing. All you gotta do is walk across the wings of a flying biplane and sometimes even transferring into the wings of a different plane. It's an extreme stunt that started back in the 1920s and it gained a lot of popularity in Hollywood. Today, there is quite the number of people who have done wing walking, and the oldest one of them is Thomas Lackey from the UK. This guy went wing walking for the first time at the age of 80. He immediately gained the world record of the oldest person to ever do this, and he did it multiple times as well. Years later, to make sure that he kept his title, he went for it again at the age of 93. I doubt anyone will break this record ever. There aren't many people out there who would dare to do something like this, let alone people who are that old. Number 8. Tightrope across the Twin Towers. Philippe Petit has always had a thing for defying death. For that same reason, back in 1974, he became the first person to walk across a tightrope extended over the top of the now-gone Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in New York City. In order to accomplish his stunt, he had to set up his suspended cable at his own risk, without the permission of any authorities. After all, no one in their right mind would ever approve of such a thing. To give you a bit of perspective, let me point out that the Twin Towers were buildings with 94 stories each. That means Petit walked on a high rope that was suspended about 400 meters above ground. And being the death-defying person that he is, he was not satisfied with just one round. He ended up putting on a 45-minute performance that included 8 trips across the cable, and he even put a dancing act for all the people who gathered below. Knowing people nowadays, they'd probably still do it if they were still up. Number 7. The strangest diet. I'm surprised they don't validate common things like scuba diving for the Guinness Book of Records while other weird stuff makes the cut, such as Michael Lotito, who earned a spot in the book by having the strangest diet. This guy became famous by eating a lot of things that are considered indigestible. That includes metal, rubber, and other strange materials that no one else would ever put in their mouths. Some of the items he consumed include bicycles, beds, and computers. However, the strangest and most admired thing that he ate was an aircraft, and it took him more than 2 years to eat it. He completed the task between the years of 1978 to 1980, and the people who saw him claimed that he ate all of these things with relative ease. Michael started his unusual diet at the age of 16 and worked his way to fame from there. He died of natural causes in 2007, 10 days after he turned 57. People will always remember him as the man who ate a plane, and I'm not sure we're going to find anyone like him in the years to come. Number 6. Heaviest car balanced on head. Have you ever lifted and balanced your car on top of your head? Of course not, that'd be really weird. Unless you're the next guy on this list, of course. But honestly, the whole thing sounds dangerous and impossible. Holding a car on top of your head would require a ton of strength. However, there is a person who was able to do this, and his name is John Evans. He holds the Guinness record for balancing the heaviest car on his head. The car was about 160 kilos and he balanced and held it on top of his head for exactly 33 seconds. Evans says that he learned about his abilities while working with bricks. He realized he could move faster if he balanced the bricks on his head while leaving his hands free. Besides the car, other things that Evans has been able to balance on his head include 275 pints of beer and a girl inside a flaming oil drum. I don't know how people come up with these ideas, but they definitely prove that John Evans has some unique abilities, I suppose. Number 5. Motorcycle bus jumps. Motorcycle bus jumps have been a thing for a very long time, but I believe one of the most iconic times for this stunt was the decade of the 70s, in which Evel Knievel was able to complete some of the most successful and remarkable motorbike jumps ever. But not everything was easy for him. When he tried to jump over 13 buses in 1975, he ended up breaking his pelvis. That would be more than enough to stop anyone from attempting further jumps. However, Knievel gave it another try a few years later, and he even added an extra bus for a total of 14. He was able to complete the jump and held on to the record for almost 2 decades. But then in 1999, Bubba Blackwell came along and he broke the record by jumping over 15 motorbikes. He also had his share of motorbike accidents, but nothing seems to stop these guys from trying new challenges. Number 4. Highest parachute jump. Parachute jumps are considered as one of the most extreme things that anyone can do in their lifetime. However, nothing has ever been extreme enough for Felix Baumgartner, an Austrian skydiver who gained recognition when he jumped from a helium balloon floating 38,000 meters above the Earth and dived back to land at a speed of 1350 kilometers per hour. This made him the first human to break the sound barrier without the use of a machine. He accomplished a lot in one single day. However, 2 years later, Alan Eustace, who happens to be the vice president of Google, went beyond this record and jumped from more than 41,000 meters high, which turned his jump into the highest one ever recorded, by putting him more than 3,000 meters above the record that Felix had set. Honestly though, both of these guys deserve recognition. One of them for being the pioneer, and the other one for being brave enough to break a record that was already dangerous enough. Number 3. Water speed record. Speedboats have been very useful when it comes to helping people move from one piece of land to another. They're more efficient than any man-powered machine, and they can go at speeds way faster than what you would normally go while on land. The fastest water speed ever recorded is 27,597 knots, which is the equivalent to 511.09 kilometers per hour. That's at least 5 times faster than a car on the freeway. The person who managed to get this fast on water was Ken Warby while riding on the Spirit of Australia, a jet-powered hydroplane on the Blowering Dam Lake in New South Wales, Australia. This happened in the year of 1978, and since then, no one has been able to break this record. In fact, some people have died while trying to go faster than that. The only person who's rumored to have gone faster than this speed is also Ken Warby himself. Some people have unofficially claimed that he managed to go 25 knots faster in November of 1977, a few months prior to officially documenting his ability to go this fast. Now it's time for the day's best pick. It seems like a lot of these dangerous records involve defying crazy heights. The picture I have for today is of one crazy record that required its protagonist to jump from a high cliff in order to earn this title. Number 2. The highest pull dive. If you've ever been to a swimming hole, you probably looked for nearby cliffs to dive into the water to add some excitement to your day. But there's one person who took cliff jumping to a whole different level when he jumped from a 60-meter high cliff down into a pool of water. His name is Lazo Schaller, and he accomplished his stunt in 2014 at the famous Cascada del Salto waterfall in Switzerland. In order to prepare for this jump, Lazo and his team spent many days working on a jumping platform and made sure the water was ready for him to dive in. As he went down, he reached a speed of about 123 kilometers per hour. And unfortunately, he missed the landing zone and instead fell on the hard part of the water. However, he was able to stand on his feet and celebrate his triumph. He did dislocate his hip, but he surely felt relieved to have achieved such an impressive jump.
I saved the best for last, but first, I have a quick challenge that takes only 5 seconds to complete. If you can leave a like and subscribe within the next 5 seconds, you'll get 10 years of amazing luck. Just try it, it really works.
Number 1. Most live rattlesnakes held in mouth. What is wrong with these people? And we finish this list with one of the craziest records that someone could ever come up with. It was set by Jackie Bibby, who was also called the Texas Snake Man due to his love for reptiles. He's a great example of how close humans can get to snakes and other animals that are usually considered scary. However, he did go a bit too far when he decided to hold 13 live rattlesnakes inside his mouth. He held all those snakes at the same time for at least 10 seconds, and I have no idea what he was trying to prove. I'm not sure. I mean, I get it. Jackie Bibby has been teaching people that snakes should not be feared, but messing with so many snakes at the same time can still be quite dangerous. And why your mouth? Why, Bibby? Oh, luckily nothing bad happened to him, and today he holds one of the strangest records in the book. And there you have it. Those are some of the most dangerous world records ever. How far would you go to break a world record? Do you know anyone who can break any of the records I mentioned today? Let us know in the comment section down below. With all that said and done, I will see you all next time. Later, everybody.